Anyone else who wants to say any comments before we start our list here? No more comments or okay. I just want to give sort of a title to all the concerns, questions, and the comments that we will address in this meeting. And this title will be for us to acknowledge first, but we never mention it to the children. Yet we make them feel it. We make them feel it without saying it out loud. We say it out loud here in our parents' meeting as parents, servants, and priests. And we need to convey it to our children without saying it out loud. This is without being stoned to death. This church belongs to the youth. This church belongs to the youth. It is their church. We need to acknowledge this fact, be committed to it. We don't say it out loud to children. We don't go and say to the youth, oh, this is your church, not ours anymore. We don't say that. But we convey it in warm love and in deeds and in action to them, so they might feel ownership of the church and they might love the church and feel that this is their own church. When they come to church, they don't go because it's our parents' church. They go to church because it's their own. When they serve, it's not because our parents are forcing us to serve. It's because we need to build this church by serving in it at different aspects, in all aspects. I don't like to see any service, regardless, any service, not only Sunday school and not only children camp and not any service, including cleaning and maintenance, everything. I don't like to see any service that the youth is not involved in. Because if they are not involved in it, it doesn't belong to them. If they are not involved in it, they don't feel it, they don't care for it, they don't love it. They feel that there are strangers there. So that's the theme of any conversation that we will have this afternoon together. Anything, we need to refer to this fact and see how we can resolve this issue or solve this problem in the shadow of light of this fact that the church belongs to the youth. And unless we are committed to this in our hearts, I don't think we'll be very successful in our service in general. So saying this, I'd like to hear from you. If what I'm saying makes sense, if you agree with it or disagree with it. Because if you disagree with it from the beginning, there's no point of continuing this theme. We can choose another theme that you might choose. So anyone here has a problem with this theme? Church is the youth. The church belongs to the youth. This is their church. You have, I'd like to hear if there is an issue that really would like to hear. So obviously everyone agrees with that fact. But that's great. That's wonderful. I didn't expect anything less, to be honest. I expected you to agree with it because I know how faithful you are to your children and how much you love your children. Whether you are a servant or a parent, I'm sure you serve and parent your children in this love that you want them to belong to this church. Once we want them to belong to this church, we have to focus on three things. Relations, relations, relations. Those are the three main things that we need to focus on. Means what? سمع الصوت مش حلو؟ sorry. Okay. فكرت حد relations, relations, relations. Means what? Means what? حد يقول لي. مش عايز اقعد ادي lecture النهارده. احنا جايين نتناقش، جايين ناخد lectures. We need to focus on those three things. There are three or one? Three. Okay, relations, relations, relations. How? Okay, relationship with God, absolutely. Relationship with servants, and relationship with parents. Three. Three things we need to, in this meeting. This meeting here, we need to focus on the three main things with our children. In anything we do, we need at any cost. وده بقى اللي جاي اللي هيحصل فيه الخناق بقى. الجزء اللي جاي ده هو اللي هيحصل فيه شد شعر يعني. ان احنا we need to maintain those three relationships at any cost. At any cost. I need to maintain the relationship between our children, our youth, and God at any cost. We need to maintain the relationship between the youth and the church at any cost. And we need to maintain the relationship between the youth and the parents at any cost. And any cost دي موضوع كبير قوي قوي. It's really huge. It is debatable to what extent we can really tolerate things. It's debatable, but our vision is clear. That we are tolerating things not because we agree on wrong things that they might do, but we tolerate things with a vision in mind, a clear vision that I am tolerating this to maintain this relationship. ايه رأيكم؟ حد يحب يقول حاجة so far? Okay. Our youth, unfortunately, living in a very evil world. And not many of us, the fact is, not many of us appreciate the amount of evil that our children is facing in this community. We might hear about it, we might know about it, but do we really appreciate it? Appreciate how dangerous it is? If any time in the history Christians walked as lambs among wolves, as Jesus Christ said to us, or said to his disciples, it will be this era now. They are like lambs among wolves. And if any time in history the devil was so strong, waiting for the children of God to charge them and destroy them, it's this era that is achieving climax and the peak of the danger of the devil. Evil now has entered the most sacred place in our lives, with no limitation to the amount of evil and with no limitation to the damage that can cause. Previously, if anyone wanted to do anything wrong, he would have or she would have to put the effort to go and do evil. Now evil had intervened in our lives to the extent that went into the most sacred places that was forbidden for evil to enter, or at least difficult for evil to enter. There is no limitation now. All the borders have fallen, and even now can reach our children's bedroom, children's heart, minds, education, schools, and churches. Match the asaf. In the past, there were some areas we considered safe for our youth. Now, on earth here, I would say, with evil in the world, what's happening in the world, there's no more safe areas, unfortunately, for our children. Schools, workplaces, friends, relatives, church. I repeat it again. Even the church is not a safe place anymore for our children, believe it or not. And I'm sorry to bring the bad news, but measuring the danger and appreciating the size of it will make us plan accordingly will make us look at the size of evil. If we undermine it, we just undermine its size, we will undermine or will design a smaller solution. If we see the real size of danger, at least we have to be ready for it. We appreciate the need for solutions. As I said twice, even in the church. And probably you heard it. If you are a father or a servant and you're talking to one of your youth or one of your children saying, oh, Habibi or ya Binti, don't go with this friend from school. We don't know them. We don't know their families. I'd rather prefer to have friends from church. First thing they say is better than whom you think is better from the church. This friend doesn't do what the church children are doing. معلش انا ابونا بتكلم عن الكنيسه ان انا ما بزعلش ان انا اكشف نفسي وافضل ان انا اديج انتو مش عايزين نقعد نعمل ايه نقول الشوارع مرصوفه والجو جميل والدنيا حلوه لان احنا يبقى مش بنحل حاجه يبقى احنا بنضحك على روحنا and filled with hypocrisy. And I'm not saying that everything is bad, but لما انت بتروح للدكتور you tell him what's wrong in your body and you say, my hand's hurting, he cannot say, yeah, but you have another hand, you have 2 feet, you have a heart, and you have everything else is working fine. Why are you complaining about your hand? No, he will see what's wrong with your hand. So here, I'm not saying the whole church is corrupted, but I'm saying if we have a problem, let's address the problem and see the problem with size, the real size, not undermine it and not be overwhelmed with it. Just look at it with the real size and deal with it and put remedy. So as I said, you probably heard that from your youth or if you're a servant or your children, that this non-Christian friend is better than many of my church friends. So that's why I said danger now is everywhere, including the most sacred places in our lives. Now we have evil that comes into our own houses after, or at least before, evil was probably in the streets, evil was probably على القهوة, evil was probably في شغل. Now evil entered our own homes, our own houses, our own bedrooms, internet, computer, laptops, handheld devices, phones, everywhere. 5 years ago, for parents who attended parents' meeting 5 years ago, I would stand here and say, please, no computers in bedrooms. They'll say it full mouth. No computers in bedroom. Why? Because you had the authority to have the huge desktop computer set up in a common area, and you had the authority and the ability to do that. Now I cannot say that anymore. I'll be fooling myself if I say so, because now all what they need is a small phone. They don't need more than that in their bedroom. Keep the computer in the kitchen, as I used to say before. Set up the desktop computer in the kitchen where everybody can see the screen and everything. Today, it's obsolete. You cannot say that anymore. You can't tell your child you're not going to your bedroom with your phone or your iPad or your laptop. It wouldn't work. We need to find other solutions. We need to maintain the relationship with our children, with God, to protect them, because nothing else will protect them. And you need to maintain a relationship a very strong relationship between our children, our youth, and the church. Because nothing else will keep them safe. And we need to maintain the relationships between us as parents and servants with our youth, because nothing else will facilitate help. Talking about relationship with God, we need to maintain this relationship by first eliminate hypocrisy from our life. We need to work hard on hypocrisy. We come to church, we participate in divine liturgies, we learn hymns, sing hymns, take communion in a very fake way. And youth feel it very much. They feel it. They sense it. They sense what we do as adults. They sense it very clearly, whether Abuna is praying or he's just saying words. They feel it very strongly whether the deacon is just chanting hymns or really praying the song or the hymn. They feel parents when they are standing here in the church. They feel if they are here just, to show up and to say hi to Abuna and socialize after the liturgy and have a sandwich and a drink and then go out with their friends. So that church is they are just accustomed to do it. Just here to check their checklist that we go to church every Sunday. They feel the hypocrisy of the servant, whether this servant has a relationship with God before he's standing there giving me a lecture or no. For he's just, is it just again check in his checklist that he came and he served, he delivered the lesson, he made audiovisual aids, he prepared for a trip, he went with us to wherever, and his being very friendly with us and all that. Check, 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 and the servant's list. Or the fact that this servant actually loved me so much. And he tasted the goodness of God. And he's here to tell me, try it, trust me, it tastes good. And then they will take it from you as a servant. Hypocrisy, we need to get rid of hypocrisy from our life, from our church. We need to maintain the relationship between children and God by eliminating hypocrisy. When we have a relationship with God, they will have a relationship with God. Second, relationship between them and the church. We need to work hard in getting them involved at any cost with service at the church. And to allow them to do that, we need to hold on criticism and not to jump into judgment all the time. You're young, you're kids. Yes, probably are taller than me, but they're still kids. You don't know better. Give them room to make mistakes. Don't criticize them like crazy. Don't look at them as infidels. Don't look at them as criminals. Look at them as our own children. And this is their place. They need to feel that. They need to feel welcomed, not criticized just because they were different or they speak English or just because they did something with their hair or whatever. We need to hold on our criticism shwaya and not to jump into things. And we need to remember that when we were their ages, we were crazy too. We were not saints. We did foolish things too. When there was the fashion of شعر طويل, all of us had شعر طويل. And when there كان fashion بسوالف طويلة, all of us had سوالف طويلة. And when there was a fashion for بنطلون شارلستون, كلنا لبسنا شارلستون. And when the jeans came up and it was like, oh wow, we all had jeans pants. So هنقول بس دي كانت reasonable. No. To our parents, it was not reasonable. It was reasonable for us only. Their time is different, more liberal, yes, but they don't know better. And how can we bring them closer to the church and to God without going to them, bring them back? The Lord Jesus Christ himself, who is God, who is holy, left his throne, his heaven, and came down. And the pure God walked on earth, got his feet dirty, the dirt of the earth, seeking the lost sheep. He didn't criticize the lost sheep. He didn't tell him, go and wash up first. He didn't say, go and cleanse yourself first. He told him, come to me and I will wash you. Come to me, I will clean you. He accepted us the way we are, and He is the Holy One. He is the perfect one. We are not perfect ourselves, and we cannot accept the non-perfect children. Who is better, them or us? No one is better. We're all sinners. And God is putting up with all of us. We first, and them. We don't want to be like the Jews who criticized everybody but the Jews, saying, oh, they are infidels, they are Gentiles, they are defiled, and they are unclean, and thought they are the best. Well, when they kept this mentality, they ended up being rejected by God Himself, totally. He said, you know what? I don't want people who think that they are clean or they are better. I came here for the sick to be healed. Because the doctor comes for the sick, not for the whole. He accepted us, the Gentiles. Ironically, we don't accept our own children. Why? Because they're sinners. How about us? Aren't we sinners? Question. Kids look at us and wonder why they are kicked out of the church. So we don't kick anybody from the church. No, we do. But the thing that we need to remember, they don't, and listen to this because that's a motto in my life that I said it to the Pope himself, and I say it to every bishop visit the church. Every single bishop visits the church, I tell him this statement. They don't ask permission to leave. They just leave. There's something called silence ecstasy. The youth just walk out the church silent. They don't ask permission to leave. We become very happy when we see our youth learning hymns and learning Coptic and come to church and wear like deacons and serve in Sunday school and do great service at the church. Wonderful, great. But one word that we need to remember, these are not the youth. They are only some of the youth. They are not the youth. Some of the youth. The rest quit. Left silently. Didn't bother telling anyone that they are leaving. Just left. Why did they leave? Because we kicked them out without even noticing. We walked all over them. We criticized them. We made them like a doormat, in and out, just criticizing in and out for everything they do. So, walked away and left. And you don't ask permission to leave. The more we're strict at the church, the more we'll leave. And the more will not ask permission to leave. And let's just give ourselves a pat on the shoulder saying, oh, good job. We have 20 people, 20 of the youth singing songs and wearing deacons and knowing this and knowing that. How about the rest of the list? Compare the list of the fellowship, compare the list of the servants prep, compare the list of grade 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 with the list of grade 1 and 2. What is the percentage? 10%? And what happened to the 90%? Silent ecstasy. You just leave. And you don't ask for permission to leave. You just disappear. And become very happy with the 10%. That's a crime, in my opinion. That's a crime. It's a crime to leave the 90% and just to be content with 10%, thinking we're doing a good job. Maintaining a relationship between our children and the church will only be established when we stop criticizing our children for everything we do. When we accept them the way they are. We accept them as this is their place. Let them stay here. And if they stay here, they will change. They will change with time. Let God, allow God to work within them. He can work but we have to keep them in for him to work. If we kick them out, where we just tell God, stop right there. You cannot do it because I already kicked them out. Just leave them at the church so God can work. Allow God to work. And the third relationship is a relationship between us as servants, as priests, servants, and parents with our children. Probably you experienced that with me and with Abuna Yusuf and Abuna Shnuda. If we are visiting you at home, or you are in our office with your child, the moment you criticize your child, what happens? What does Abuna do? He will support his child against you. He will support the child against you. So don't put yourself in this position. He's not trying to put you down. He's trying to do one thing, and he's begging you to notice. He's only trying to keep the relationship between him and this youth. Because once you humiliate him in front of Abuna, he will walk out and never come back again. But the moment Abuna would defend him, he would look at Abuna and say, oh, wow, Abuna didn't criticize me. You know what? I'll come back. Guaranteed, he will come back. Why? Because he needs love. And he needs a father who will not criticize him, who will need a hug, who will not tell him you are a sinner. He will need someone to tell him, I understand. One key word we need to keep in our minds as parents and as servants. We need to support our children with no limitations, even if we don't support what they do. We need to support our children and tell them so. Tell them, listen, Habibi, I don't agree with what you're doing. I don't support what you're doing, but I support you. They need to feel support. They don't want anything but support. The more we support them unconditionally, the more we will maintain the relationship between us and them. Even if we don't support what they do. As a matter of fact, we can't support what they do. There's a huge difference. Supporting you and supporting what you do, because that's what God does. God is always there for us no matter what. Does he support what we do? If we do a sin, if we do evil? No, he doesn't, of course. But does he abandon us? No, he doesn't, of course. So he's there for us. He's supporting us. Talk about God, the whole perfect. He's still supporting every single one of us, although we are sinners. We need to convey the same to our children, to tell them, we support you, although we don't support what you do. You don't have to say it like what I'm saying now, but you say it when you said, I understand. I know how you feel. Wow, I can appreciate that. Yes, I feel you. Then they will feel, oh, wow, really? You really feel, like you're not going to shout at me or criticize me or not? No, I understand. I understand where you come from. I understand how you feel about that. It's a lot of pressure on you. And then they will start even لوحديهم كده, like تلقائيا كده. Once they feel your love to them, they will start to get better. Just not to disappoint you after knowing that you are there for them as a parent, as a servant, as a priest. But when you feel like you're stepping back from them, pointing them, and you're a sinner, why would they even bother to be better? Did you hear it from your children before? Baba, Mama, you always, nothing I can do that will please you. So, you know what? I'm not going to even try to be better because it's not going to make a difference. The other day I was talking to someone, and when I said, okay, what do you think of what you're doing? He said, it doesn't matter. What do you mean it doesn't matter? No, it matters. No, I know you don't care about my opinion. That's what she said to me. I know you don't care about my opinion. Well, I said, you know what? If I don't care about your opinion, I wouldn't leave my family, my children, take my time, sit here with you, come especially in the bad weather, just to be with you. I'm here not to give you a lecture, and I'm not here to talk. I'm here to listen. And I care about your opinion. No one cares about my opinion. My parents don't care about opinion. You don't care about my opinion. No, I do care about your opinion. And I want you to tell me your opinion, to tell me what you see, what you feel. I want to know. Then and only then you start to talk. And then and only then you start to get better. Because when they judge themselves, when they say their opinion about themselves, they hear themselves and they don't like themselves. So they will get better. They will get better without even telling them get better. God does that. I'm not inventing a methodology here or a method. I'm just learning from how Jesus dealt with people, how God is dealing with us every day. Every day he comes to us and say, talk to me. Why do we encourage people to pray? Because when we pray, do we say anything new to God? Do we say anything he doesn't know? Of course he does know everything. But he wants us to say it so we can hear it, so we can feel it. And he would tell us, I understand. When we feel that he understands, we'll try to get better. 3 relationships that we need to maintain at all costs, at any cost. Even if we agree, or at least even if we allow, sorry, not the right word, not to agree, but if we allow some wrong things. I know this is kind of, you know what I mean. But knowledge. Choose your battle. You can allow one small wrong thing and fight one big wrong thing. If you don't allow anything, it will be a problem. So be selective and choose and select your battle and just allow some things. Disagreement still, you don't approve it still, you don't agree on it still, but we'll let go of this one. So we can talk about a bigger problem and prevent it from happening. I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear from you. Any comments about what I said? تفضلي مارك. تاخدي الميكروفون please.
أبونا ممكن تكلمنا عن relationships ليهم مع بعضهم، لأن دي حاجة صعب أوي، مش عارفة أشتغل فيها، فياريت قدسك تدينا some guidance.
Relationships between الولاد وبعضهم is a very sticky area, to be honest. Very critical area. It's probably very difficult to get involved in this relationship, but we should put a lot of efforts in it, especially servants more than parents, to be honest. Relationship between youth, probably job for the servants, how to, because parents always, make it worse if they get involved here. It normally gets worse, but servants have to work on this with parents probably, but you have to. The problem is kids are different. Every child is different. Every child is different. Some of them very conservative, some of them not as conservative. Some of them like things and some of them don't like things. And regardless what they like and what they don't like, even if it's a very, very, very small problem, at that age, this problem could be get really bigger, especially between girls. Believe it or not, it's easier between boys. You want to make a relationship between a group of boys, just throw them a ball, they will play a soccer game and they'll become friends. Easy. Try to make a relationship between 2 girls, friendship between 2 girls, good luck with that. Girls are different. They have different mentality altogether. So boys, so I'll talk about girls because it's more difficult. Boys are way easier, and if we apply. Girls, the problem with girls at that particular age group, they are building their personality, and because they are building their personality, of course, any girl in the world would like to be pretty, cute, sweet, uh, be like looked at, respected, and respect their mentality, their personality, and wants a personality, right? Especially what they think, which is not true, but they think or they believe that in our culture in Egypt, girls worth nothing. So when they talk to parents and stuff, they feel like, I'm a girl, I'm not important in your culture, your background, Egyptian or Arabic. Of course, girls are not important. Boys are better. I know some families, not many, but some families will actually do that. They actually say it to girls. You're just a girl, of course, and that hurts them. But not الحمد لله دلوقتي المنتاليتي اتنورت وبقى الولد زي البنت يعني. زمان كان البنت دي ملهاش أي وزن، الولد هو كل حاجة. لكن الحمد لله أحسن دلوقتي. Anyways, so the girl has this inferiority complex that by nature she feels that looked down to. She's less than anybody, so she wants to prove herself. And when there is another girl in the picture, the first thing that girl would feel, she would feel threat right away. Threat. You cannot make friendship with someone that you are threatened by. It's impossible. So you need to, if you want to work on relationships, you need to work on the personality of the person to make it stronger. A strong personality can easily make good relationship. A weak personality makes a terrible relationship. A strong personality, as someone who is not strong like very strong personality, like I mean like a balanced, strong personality. Easy to make friends, easy to communicate with anyone. Why? Because she does not feel threatened by the other person. So our job in service is to deal with everybody equal and to build this inside everyone individually. Is don't be a threat to anybody and don't feel threatened by anybody. If we reach this point, we'll be able to build relationship. But if we, no matter what, if we try to build relationships between them and yet they are feeling some threat from one another, that will be a problem. Of course, at home, parents need to just build self-confidence in their children without making them very strong to other people, to overcome other people, or to tread on other people, or deal with other people bad. No bullying. We need to work on, just be confident with yourself. You are good the way you are. You're respected the way you are. And this way, they will build good relationships. In the way of building relationships, sometimes we cross the line, thinking that if we just get them together and let them sleep over and do whatever, everything together, that will improve the relationship. The result is totally the opposite. The more they mingle together, the more there is friction, and the more there is heat, and the more there is enmity, and the more there is jealousy, and the more there is problem. Boundaries are good in this age. Have boundaries between children so they can deal with one another in a certain way with limitations. Sleep over is a no-no. People who know me for a long time know that this is my school and I'm still very strict at it. No sleep over at anyone by no means, by all means. No sleep over. Things happen in sleep over I cannot talk about now on the microphone in a church, to be honest with you. You don't know about. It's very difficult to know about, but we know about it. We come across it, problems, family problems and stuff. You don't really want to know it happens. But trust in our opinion as priests. No sleep over, please. Arguko, no matter what. Sleep over with friends in school or church. لا, please. That's one thing. Try to improve relationships with limitations. Teach that to a very, very close relationship, yet is not very far relationship. The best way in improving relationships between youth at that age group is trips and working around the church and church activities. When there is a trip, send them to the trip. Even if the trip is very expensive, we are trying our best to minimize the cost of trips. We can. Canada is very expensive. It's become very expensive later بطريقة مثيرة الحقيقة. حتى الفاميلي كونفنشنز حاجة مش معقول. أسعار عمالة تزيد بطريقة مش معقول. So we don't have هنعمل إيه؟ But try to encourage trips. But saying trips, we need to have very good supervised trips from servants. We have a ratio, a servant to 3 kids. مش كده so far ولا servant to 4? 4? 4. Servant to 1 servant to 3 younger, 1 servant to 4 مش كده؟ السيرفنت لا مش عايزينها أكبر شوية. عايزينها maximum 1 servant to 4 people. I'm sorry. Even a smaller, we can do more trips, smaller size trips, better than unsupervised trips. Unsupervised trips cause damage, cause more hurt and more damage to relationships than um, any good. Youth, especially high school, grade 7 و 8 and high school have to be supervised all the time. معلش أكتر من العيال الصغيرين. احنا عندنا الريليشن شيب دي العيال الصغيرين عايزين تimplemented مع اليوث والهاي سكول especially يعني بغض النظر سواء كانت one gender or two gender like even like one gender trip going يعني البويز لوحدهم والجيرلز لوحدهم we need supervision لأن supervision دي هي اللي هتخلي relationship تبقى better then they come back from the trip better not worse the trip can be actually يعني two side to a double-edged sword يعني هم they can come from a trip not even want to come to church anymore because you were hurt at the church at the trip okay so trips have to be dealt with very carefully. The other thing that improves the relationship is when they participate in activities around the church like summer camp and مثلا children trips when they go to like you know with the Christmas trip with the kids and when they go to Galilee during the summer they build relationships together but again those are very controlled relationships and they are very supervised relationships because they can backfire okay so that's what I can say about relationship between youth at that age get them involved at the church different things scout scout is younger age but trips serving and anything getting involved anything like doors open time امبارح let them come and enjoy helping out and so on they will deal with one another and they will improve the relationship أي حد عايز يقول أي حاجة بخصوص الموضوع your contribution I'd like to hear from you from your experience as a parent or as a servant أي حد عايز يكلم منال اتفضل ميكروفون ممكن منال
Sorry يا ابونا سامحني بس as a parent I'm not sure I trust the supervision as a
Okay.
parent لأن أنا مش شايفة ليها رول أنا شخصيا as a servant ما كنتش أعرف إن في ratio ف as a parent I don't know that there is a rule ما أعرفش إيه الرولز بتاعت الكنيسة في الرحلات مثلا ف as a parent ما اعرفش انا ابقى مستريحه بنتي تطلع انا بطلعها every once in a while انا مش بقول لا بس as a parent I'm not sure I trust ان في rules معروفه وممكن تكون حتى written او السيرفنتس يعرفوها او مش عارفه
rules exist and we talk about them in parents meeting like this that's
Verbal.
why you know because
no but it's
لا
verbal
لا we have
مفيش
in
حاجه
our
في الويب
servants
سايت بتاعت الكنيسه بتقول ان في حاجه في
نعم.
ايه الرولز بتاعت الحاجات في دلوقتي الفورم اللي بتطلع الفورم بتاعت البرميشن هل فيها انا كبيرنت عارفه الريشيو عارفه مين السيرفنتس اللي طالعين عارفه بنتي هتبقى مع مين هتبقى بايته في الاوضه مع حد كبير حد صغير لما راحت السمر كامب انا بقول لقدسك جويسي رجعت من السمر كامب a few years ago قالت لي انا مش عايزه اروح السمر كامب ده تاني انا بروح العيال الكونسلرز بيقعدوا يلعبوا ويسيبونا I feel bored I don't want to go فهو انا بقول لك as a parent ان انا مش عارفه انا هل بقيه البيرنتس يعرفوا. احنا بقينا دلوقتي بالاكسبيرينس. جت السنه اللي بعدها بيرنتس قالوا لنا بعد ما السمر كامب ابتدى لا ده السمر كامب اتغير خالص، ده بقى جميل. ليه؟ لان الحاجات مش معلنه وحتى مش موجوده في ويب سايت الكنيسه. كانت ده انا بتكلم على السمر كامب. طب والرحلات بتاعه الدي تريبس او اوفر نايت تريبس او الحاجات ديت، انا شايفه ان احنا المفروض ننفولف ويبقى في حاجات more documented. الرول الريشيو الحاجات ديت كلها عشان حتى ابقى عارفه عيالي طالعين مع مين etc.
أنا agree with you يا منال، بس unfortunately الإكزامبلز اللي أنت اخترتيها ديت فيها أول إكزامبل بالنسبة للتريب. كل تريب بتطلع مع مثلا اليوث جريد 9 to 12. الشيت بيبقى two sides. one side كل الانفورميشن، السكند سايد تقريبا كله youth trip terms and condition أو guidelines. و by the way you're not signing only the information, you're signing the second page as well. ومايك هو مثلا بيتيك care of the trips, most of the trips he makes sure in both sides are signed. بس على فكرة لما باجي أسأل حد من الولاد مثلا، يعني سألتهم النهاردة did you read all the rules? He said no. Did your dad or your mom read all the rules? She said no. He just signed it now. This is an issue. ف يعني ديت مثلا، يعني ده أول example اللي هو موضوع التريبس. The second example موضوع السمر كامب. summer camp you're receiving a package. الباكج ديت موجودة online فيها تريبس كل يوم بيروحوا فين، فيها يعني الرولز اللي هي معروفة up till now. يعني مثلا كان في different destination we are not sure about. فاحنا كتبنا في النوت ان في some destination will be changed, some trips will be changed. ففي حاجات confirm وفي حاجات not confirmed. بس يعني بالنسبة مثلا للسمر كامب هتلاقي كل الانفورميشن موجودة one page فيها almost 5 tabs فيها كل الانفورميشن على التريبس schedule day by day, اللوكيشنز اللي هيروحوها, الترمز اند كونديشن. هي البروبلم مش ان احنا تو انفورم، المشكله ان احنا بنبقى حاطين lots of information و some parents they miss it. يعني لسه كنا بنتكلم في موضوع تاني في another event ان الترمز اند كونديشن وصلت صفحتين. is it wise ان احنا نحط more؟ ما هو انا كده كده يعني هي مش بكثره الترمز اند كونديشن او الرولز او كده، بس هي النقطه كويسه ان انت يوريز اب النقطه ديت، لان احنا عاوزين كل البيرنتس تو ريد الفورم لان فيها lot of rules. احنا if I go outside now and pick up any form، يعني لو انا سالت اي حد مثلا نجيب اي فورم هتلاقي في ظهرها كل الرولز ديت، اقريها وشوفي. يعني بس كويس ان انت ادرس البوينت ديت عشان فعلا lots of parents they don't read كل الرولز واحنا عاوزينهم يقروها يعني. Thank you. My connection.
Some of the servants have a question regarding the trips when it comes to rules, um, uh, because there seems to be some confusion between some parents and the priests and servants as to how we can discipline the children on the trips if they don't obey the rules. Uh, the servants, we are under the understanding that we can send a child home, but some parents don't agree with that. So we'd like some clarification.
It's like we as servants, a lot of times when we go on the overnight trips, we actually spend more time talking with the kids and trying to figure out the drama and the relationships going on more than we do on the lectures and the workshops and everything that's planned. So it's not to say that, kids are being sent home right away, but there are certain situations where it comes to a point where it goes beyond our control. And we're lucky enough that we have a Bunishnuda with us there, and he'll sit down and we'll try to put the kids together with whatever issue they're facing. But sometimes there could be a few individuals in a very bad situation, and then they begin to influence all the other kids on the trip. So how much flexibility do we have with saying we can't control it anymore and it's time to go home?
Yeah, that requires a lot of experience. Takes a lot of effort, experience, and consulting with Abuna, who's always involved in any activity. And there is always, in any activity, there is Abuna in charge. Trips, most of the time, there is a priest with the kids. So I would recommend that at certain level, like after you see that it's become very difficult to deal with this particular child, is to bring it to Abuna, because Abuna knows the big picture for this child. Maybe this child is going through a lot of difficult things in his life, and we need to be more tolerant with this particular child due to specific reasons. At the same time, Abuna might make a more tougher decision with another child and send him home, just because he knows that this child is just having an attitude, but he's well disciplined and everything. Why is he having this attitude now? He's trying to make a scene or show off or whatever. So Abuna might be more strict on one child and less strict on the other based on his information about what this child is going through in his life or his family or his health or at school or whatever. So we talk to Abuna at that. I think that's the right way, right approach to any problem once it reached certain uncontrollable situation. نينات تقدري تقولي لي statistics wise for example الرحلة كان فيها كم child وكم servant وكم adult؟ كريسماس مثلا على سبيل المثال.
تقريبا كان عندنا 80 طفل و20 servants أو يعني 22 servants يعني بلس قدسك طبعا كنت معانا. أنا بس ممكن هقول حاجات بسيطة بالنسبة للكريسماس تريب أو المارش بريك تريبس. بالنسبة للكريسماس تريب احنا بيبقى عندنا الريشيو بيبقى 4:1 كل 4 أطفال بيبقى معاهم servant. السيرفنتس بيبقى ليهم رولز وفي رولز للأولاد احنا بنقولها لهم أول ما بنوصل المكان وبيبقى فيه السكادجول اللي هنمشي عليه بيبقى محطوط على الويب سايت بتاع الكنيسة. احنا بنفولو السكادجول ده as much as we can unless بيبقى فيه حاجة يعني مثلا لو هنخرج او هنعمل حاجة بس الجو وحش جدا ما اقدرش اخد الاطفال بره فبغير السكادجول بس هي دي اللي ممكن تكون ما بتحصلش كل سنة ف most of the time بنفولو السكادجول exactly ويس في رولز للسيرفنتس ويس في رولز للأولاد بس بيعرفوها هناك with all of them يعني they are really good سواء السيرفنتس ولا الكيدز كلهم they know that they're gonna follow the rules no matter what on time the prayers on time the sessions on time الأكل on time the activities on time فنشكر ربنا يعني كلهم. الحاجة الوحيدة اللي ممكن أقول عليها إن إحنا ما بنقدرش نقول الأولاد بيباتوا مع مين عشان الأولاد بيبقوا عايزين مثلا servant معين أو عايزين يعني يبيتوا مع بعض ممكن بيبيتوا مع بعض دي we allowed it يعني lately لكن السيرفنتس بالذات ما بحبش ان هم يطلبوا سيرفنت لان كل سيرفنت الحمد لله كويسين وبعدين بنعمل لهم many sessions و many meetings before the trip actually يعني لمدة حوالي شهرين قبل الرحلة بيبقى in weekly basis عندهم meetings وبنفولو up معاهم وبنقول لهم الرولز ديت كلها ف they all know what's going on فما بحبش الأولاد وطبعا عايزة رأي قدسك يعني لو ده غلط ما بحبش الأولاد إن هم يطلبوا أو البيرنتس بيطلبوا servant معين يبقى مع أولادهم.
Yeah, we have this rule and this
يعني
rule,
أنا أحب إن الكل the same والكل
yes,
حلوين
طبعا.
وبعدين كلهم مثلا بيلعبوا مع بعض كلهم بنصلي القداس مع بعض كلهم بنصلي البريرز المورنينج بريرز والافترنون بريرز والميدنايت بريرز كله مع بعضينا يعني فكون ان البيرنتس يطلبوا سيرفنت مخصوص يبقى مع اولادهم هي دي الوحيده اللي انا ما بقدرش
No, I agree. I cannot really accommodate. I cannot accommodate that request. طبعا لو حد طالب servant معين will not work out. But I have a comment. أنت خلصتي ولا لسه في حاجة؟ That's it.
that's it يعني أنا
ده
يعني
كويس. No, I agree معاكي في الحتة دي absolutely. There is a comment that I would say يعني just حاجة جت في بالي دلوقتي منال. Um, as parents we need to be more interactive and proactive. ازاي؟ If my child comes to me and say it was a terrible trip, I'm not going to go to trips anymore, what would be the natural reaction to the parent? I would say إن هو to approach أبونا أو to approach مثلا المسؤول عن الخدمة دي in particular and to see what went wrong. Why? 9 out of 10, that's يعني statistics يعني, you will find that it is the child's fault. How? I'll give you an example. أنا كنت في trip والchild دون عايز ينام مع other 4 kids مثلا أو 5 kids, they want to sleep together in one room that has only 4 beds and we cannot نخلي العيال هتنام على الأرض. So no, you can't sleep with this group. احنا عملنا list والجروب اتوزعت. We try to switch, we try to accommodate his request or her request, but there is a limit to what we can do. Or a child who wants to use his electronics and we said no electronics. Or a child who wants to do anything. Or a child who's just sick in the trip, so he was not in the mood, couldn't play with others, so the others didn't like it, whatever. Or any physical reasons, كان بطنه وجعاه، كان الأكل didn't like it very much. في البيت ماما بتجيب له الأكل اللي هو عايزه. In the trip, that's what we have. So she or he didn't eat, whatever. His experience in this trip will be terrible. Is it anybody's fault? Maybe the child's fault, after that he was very stubborn and insisting sleeping with his friends, or very cranky because he was sick. That's nobody's fault, but it's like he is the reason, it's not the trip or the servant or the other kids. Or he was bullying someone and the servant had to not allow that, or whatever the reason is. So going back to the servant or to Abun and discuss it in a very friendly way, not as a complaint. Well, listen, my child had this problem in the trip. What went wrong? Was there any problem? Was there any concern, anything that I should be aware of? And the answer will come saying, well, your child اتظلم في الرحلة دي بصراحة. Yes, كان في ولد متعب وضربه وزعله وفعلا بصراحة الرحلة دي باظت عليه. خلاص عرفنا السبب، وإذا عرف السبب بطل العجب. لكن ممكن أو يقول الحقيقة your child really gave us a really hard time this trip and I'm happy that you're talking to me because I think we need to talk to him because this and that, and tell us facts. He didn't listen, he didn't go with the rule, he didn't eat anything for 3 days, he didn't whatever, right? He wanted always to be in this game while we are taking turns. He wants always to play in the gym while we don't have the gym available all the time. He didn't want to come to sessions, he didn't want to. So maybe there is a concern that I need to know, or maybe فعلا it was just a bad, tough trip for this child and he was really, 9 out of 10, to be honest, 9 out of 10, the child contributed to his misery in the trip. It was not somebody else's fault but him. Some kids, I was like this when I was a child. Don't interact a lot. I didn't play sports when I was a child, so I would go to a trip and everybody is playing soccer. I don't know how to play soccer, so I'll stay alone. Go home. I don't want to go to trip anymore. Why? Because I didn't have fun. Everybody else was playing and was sitting beside the wall, not finding anything to do. Okay, so is it their fault? Is it trip's fault? Maybe not. Maybe partially yes. Maybe they should have invented a game for me to play, but no one else wants to play with me, right? So that kind of thing. I myself, when I was very little, I tell you the truth, I didn't enjoy trips so much. Why? Because I didn't know how to play soccer, and Egypt is all about soccer. So you go any trip and you have to play soccer, and if you don't play soccer, and even if I try to play soccer, no team wants to take me because I'm أقول لكم كل عقدي النفسية دلوقتي اهو. So it's just not one factor, it's like many factors. So maybe لو كان parents interact مع الكنيسة more أو مع أبونا أو مع servant saying where is the problem, let's sit down. Oh yeah, she had a problem with her roommate. Oh هاتي الروميت دي كمان ونتكلم معاها. البنت التانية دي انتوا كنتوا fighting all the time. البنت التانية كانت بتبولي my child, maybe okay, we'll talk to her parents and we can resolve the issue. But not to take it with its face value that the child is not happy, so okay, well, he's not happy, let it be يعني. فالحتة دي محتاجة more interaction ما بين parents والكنيسة I see. في منال ليك أي comment? I covered all the points. اتفضل عاطف. Yes, absolutely. Oh yes, of course. That on hourly basis. Oh, to the parents. Yeah. And if there is a major issue, we don't bring all the issues to parents because parents are sensitive towards their children. But we bring it up, and if there is a major issue, we discuss it with parents. Mary. في ميكروفون تقدري تستخدميه ميري عشان نسمعك.
بالنسبة للولاد بتوع الهاي سكول بيتعرضوا دلوقتي لتشالنجز يعني above and beyond. في يعني حاجات so inappropriate بتتعرض في المدارس سواء أفلام rated R or inappropriate movies or inappropriate plays encouraging homosexuality and things like that. ولما الولاد بيحاولوا ان هم يطلعوا من الكلاس كده sneaking ان هم يروحوا الواشروم او كده when they are caught بيبقوا threatened ان هم هيتعرضوا لأذية.
Yes.
وده دلوقتي بقت ظاهرة وبيتعاملوا معاهم بsuch an aggressiveness لدرجة ان الولاد مش عارفين يعملوا ايه. يعني كان في الأول الولد بيطلع يقعد في الواشروم والتيتشر understands وبتعديها. لا دلوقتي they threaten them. We pay for your education to attend these things.
Yes.
كده بالعنف ده.
Yeah.
فمش عارفة ايه حق الولاد. يعني احنا عايزين نعرف حقوق الولاد ايه. هل من حقهم يحضروا او ما يحضروش whatever they want ولا لا زي ما التيتشر بتقول لهم هتتأذوا هتترفدوا.
Let's ask a teacher. Let's ask a teacher. Go ahead, Melania will answer this question. She's a teacher, by the way, so she knows the rule.
So I'm in elementary school, so it could be a little bit different, but it applies up until grade 12. And I wanted to mention this earlier, but the sex ed curriculum, it's out, it's in full force, it's being taught. Just 2 months ago, teachers had a workshop set up, and every school had 2 teachers that would go to the workshop, and they were trained on how to teach the sex curriculum. We had a meeting last month, every school had a meeting with all their staff, and the process of how it works now is the sex curriculum is being taught. As a parent, if you want to pull your child out, if this was 2 years ago, you just write a note to the principal saying, due to personal reasons, I want to pull my child out from the health curriculum. Now they're making it a little more difficult. It's a form that they'll give you, and on the form you have to specify exactly what your concern is. You have to go to the curriculum of that grade and you have to write which expectation you're not okay with, and then you have to explain what it is you're not okay with about it. Then you give it to the principal. The principal has to read it, and the principal gets to decide if this is legitimate enough or not. So they're making it more difficult for you to give valid reasons to pull them out. So they kind of want you as parents now to have that accountability of reading the curriculum, of understanding it, and then coming and saying, I want my child out because this expectation goes against my belief, and in the Bible it says this, and this is against it. If anyone's interested, they have documentations ready for every grade, and it says exactly what's being taught. It says exactly what the teachers will be doing. They gave us these copies for every grade, so if anyone is interested, if your child's in a specific grade, you're more than welcome to come speak to me, and I can print out a copy for you, and you can read it over and then see which expectation you're uncomfortable with, and that way, when the principal calls you into their office, you know what you're fighting against. Oftentimes, parents just say, oh, they're teaching about sex, pull them out. Some parts of the curriculum are a little worrisome, and some parts, children need to know. Children need to be educated about certain things. So it's very important that as parents, you know what you're fighting for, because if you just say no, the principal will say they have to attend it. And they're saying within another 3 to 4 years, they're not even going to give you that option of pulling them out. So fight for it
Thank you,
wisely.
Melania. Paul, عايز يقول حاجة؟
If I can just make a brief comment, and the parents might not want to hear this, but I know I went through high school in this country and I went through university here. I was born here actually, so it's a different generation now. I'm not denying that. But if we think once high school's over, it's going to get better. Oh, they're out of high school, good. Phew. That's not the case. University, it gets even worse. In university, they don't just attack you and tell you about homosexuality. They don't teach you. They start to question your very faith. They start to question your very roots. They start to question. Like I took a course where they questioned the whole basis of gender. They told me there's no such thing as gender. There's no males. There's no females. There's just people, and you choose whatever you want. I thought this is ridiculous. So I think, and this is not a direct answer to the question, but I think the importance and what we're trying to do as servants is to root them in the basis of our own beliefs and faith, so that the kids can understand what they believe and try to filter what they hear in schools and universities and everything like that through the filter of their own faith and their own beliefs. So there has to be a root and a depth that has to start with the parents, and we'll try to, the church will try to encourage to know what is right and what is wrong according to our own beliefs, because it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get better.
Yeah, I agree. I want to say a comment about this. Do you want to say, حاجة? Oh, go ahead.
Small
first.
comment. So especially with the sex curriculum, from one my experience with kids, that if they don't hear it in the classroom, they're going to hear them from their classmates. So the parents have to know what's there. Just because you pulled your child out, that doesn't mean they're not going to hear about it.
And you would
So
know it in the wrong way too.
it's even worse because these kids are going to dilute the information. So sometimes it's safer that they hear it from a teacher than it is. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but sometimes it's safer to hear it from a teacher, and then you as a parent take the responsibility to know the expectation that's being taught and tell them why our church sees it another way. Because if not, the kids are going to hear it from other kids, and it's going to be even worse.
Actually, we do agree with this as priests of the whole area. We had a meeting regarding this particular program when we started to implement it, and that was the conclusion that we came up with, that because we were thinking of taking a stand against and make like sort of a common thing for all the Copts to have the right not to attend and so on. But we figured as priests that will hurt our children more, because they will hear it secondhand as opposed to hear it from the teacher. They will hear it from their friends, and of course it will be all distorted and the wrong information rather than the right information from the teacher. And I like what Paul said as well, because that actually confirms something I'm going to share with you, and I'm not going to take a lot more of your time, but think about it. If someone got bit by a serpent, snake, poisonous snake, will he die? Yes? Yes? Wrong. Focusing on the serpent will not solve the problem. We're living in the world. In the world there are serpents, they are poisonous, and they're going to bite us. If we just surrender to the fact that the poisonous snake kill, we cannot survive. And actually, poisonous snakes don't kill. It's the venom of the snake that flows in your bloodstream that kills you, not the bite. So it all depends on what you're going to do about it. It all depends on how you're going to deal with the venom. Forget about the serpent. The serpent will always be there. If it's not here, it'll be there. If it's not that school, it'll be the internet. If it's not the internet, it'll be friends. If not friends, it will be like the world. The world is so that I started this at the beginning. I said we are in the worst time ever because evil invaded all our life with no control. Serpents are all over us, and they're all poisonous. But we can survive. We can survive not by not letting serpents bite us, because that will never happen. We can survive not by not allowing my child watching these movies. but we can survive by building our immunity system and learn how to deal with the venom of the serpent when it enters into our body. When the wrong information comes to my mind, by any means, school, friends, whatever, how my mind will process this. If my mind is going to process this in a deadly way, I'm going to die. If my mind will shut down this from going through my bloodstream, I'm going to survive that. So our mission here as parents and children and servants for our children and priests is to build the immunity system of our youth and to build their ability to know how to deal with evil in the world. Then they are capable of fighting the evil in the world, high school, university, work, you name it. They will be able to deal with it because you built their immunity system. But complaining about the environment will not help us much because unfortunately we have no power over the environment. We have no power over the serpent. But we have power over our own bodies and we have power over our own way of how to deal with the venom of the serpent. So to do this, we work on 3 things. What are those? To work with our children, relationship with God, relationship with the church, to be merged in the church, and relationship with us. So when there is a problem, he can come to us and open up and talk to us freely. I saw this movie. I was hurt. There was something in me not feeling well about this. Talk freely about what they feel with their parents, with no shame, with not embarrassment. This relationship is very, very important because it is the foundation of building a relationship with the church, and it is the foundation of building a relationship with God. Paul?
I think also, Buna, as Christians, unfortunately, throughout the last few generations, we've taken a very strong position of hate, and we've forgotten our roots of love. Like, for example, when we attack, like, for example, homosexuality, we've become very, very hateful. And unfortunately, we're starting to get the reputation now of being the small-minded, unaccepting, when really we should be taking a position of love when we're teaching about things like this, and the reason why we don't agree with it, but we love anyway. And what's happening is because our generations have taken a position of hate, the youth are being taught acceptance. And it's coming out from under us. We've had youth come up to us and say, so what's wrong with homosexuality? It's okay. I mean, why are our parents so hateful?
Again, for every action, there is a reaction.
Right.
So you push towards this, you will take a 180-degree reaction. Yeah. Thank you very much for Marianne. Okay, عايز تقولي أنا مش عايز أخركم أكتر من كده. Go ahead.
انا معاهم ان هو ما ينفعش ان احنا نقول العيال من الفصل لان هيسمعوا من اصحابهم. برضو احنا as a parents بنقول كلامنا اللي هو ده مش تبعنا او whatever النقط اللي هي بنحط تحتيها red lights او red وبنتكلم فيها. بس العيال برضو بيسمعوا من teachers مدارس الاحد اكتر مننا. فاللي انا كنت بقترحه ان لو كل teacher بتاع كل grade يقرا الكروكيليوم بتاع الجريد بتاعه ويعمل open discussion مع العيال ويحكي معاهم ويفهمهم. برضو دي هيبقى البيت مع الكنيسة في نفس الخط. لأن برضو البيرنتس أحيانا زي ما بقول قال نبقى أحيانا get tension get angry or something أو ما بنعرفش نتعامل كويس. فده اقتراح يعني.
We will consider that, but that needs or requires some training. That unless the servant is trained on how to handle a conversation, we can't throw him into it. Otherwise, it might again backfire. But we can build together some sort of training to do that. Thank you very much. في حد كان عايز رفع ايده تاني؟ إبراهيم أنت كنت
Just back to Paul's point, we're not attacking anyone. We're not creating hatred between like the kids and homosexuality. We teach them the love. We teach them to accept the others, and we teach them how to accept even if they are wrong, or even if we think they are wrong. We're not attacking anyone, but the problem is now.
إبراهيم I cannot disagree معاك. أنا آسف في البيوت كلها. Just mention it in أي بيت.
I'm talking as a servant. I'm not responsible for the parents. No, I'm talking as a servant.
You're.
No, I'm talking as a servant. No.
But to be honest, the majority, as a Coptic community, the majority بتاعت الناس, just mention it. شوف واحد ماشي في الشارع ويشوف الاب هيقول ايه الام هتقول ايه
Uh,
الكومنتس
this,
بتاعتنا is
this is
so
generation
loud.
gap. We cannot fix it. We cannot fix. That's why you always have a problem with this generation and our parents. And this is problem is going to resolve next generation, not now. So no matter what you do now we still in a hatred relationship between anybody else that have different tradition than ours. So what I'm saying is the church has a big responsibility um, uh, to educate the kids and how to accept the others. And we cannot just let them hear from the school.
Yeah, that's
We have a
exactly
big
what's confirmed. That's
exactly
conforming
and outdated curriculum that we have and we keep feeding the kids with it, that has to be stopped. Because the kids, they have enough from hearing the same thing over and over and over again. And what are we facing in the school? What the pressure we are facing?
لا بس الكريكولم دلوقتي always يعني
It's outdated.
improving. لا always improving, always improving, always improving. We are always, and we are encouraging servants. If you feel that there is a need, come, and we are so flexible in changing the curriculum, so flexible. Come to us and we will change the curriculum, insert this lesson here, insert that lesson here, by all means. And we always discuss in every fellowship meeting, servants meeting, where servants preparation meeting, Sunday school meetings. We always encourage them, okay, if you see that there is an element missing in the curriculum, bring it up, we'll find a room and we'll insert it. Absolutely, I agree with the idea. You're totally right about it, but it's an ongoing process. And even in our curriculum, when we talked about the curriculum, why do we use the SUS curriculum? Because it's not printed on paper. Why it's not printed? Because it's not fixed. Because it changes every time, every year. So always lessons been taken out, and that's why we don't even print it. It's online, so we can change it. It's like more flexible, yeah. Thank you so much يا جماعة. Sorry for delaying you. ربنا معاكم كلكم. God bless you all. Bless all the parents, all the servants, and all the youth. Well, let's stand up for prayer, please.
And make us, Lord, hear us, Lord, when we thankfully pray, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for them the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen.
Now may the love of God the Father, the grace of the only begotten Son, our Lord God and Savior Jesus Christ, the communion of the Holy Spirit be with you all. You may go in peace. The peace of the Lord be with you all.